I thought we played, really good defensive second quarter that got our offense going. They only scored 6 points that quarter. I was really happy about that. When we got that little cushion, we could kind of play comfortably on offense, which is a good way that we play. Obviously I thought we had a bad defensive third quarter, and then we've really struggled with that balance of being aggressive and not getting passive down the stretch, and so that's something we're really going to have to try to simulate in practice. But it's hard to simulate that mentality. So that was a little frustrating, but we've done that twice now. Both times our girls kind of responded, and I'm glad that they responded down the stretch. We're able to kind of not let them come back and really make it a game, but I don't think we should be in that point. So overall, I'm happy. 8-3 going into finals week. Losses to Milwaukee, who's in the top 25 mid-major poll. Marquette, who's a good team. Mizzou, who's a good team. We're not going to play any more teams that begin with an M this year, so I'm pretty excited about that.
I was going to say, and you mentioned a little bit, you were a little frustrated there in the fourth quarter. I mean, was that just the point spread at that point that maybe got a little relaxed a little bit, do you think?
Yeah, I think so, and I'm just really on our players to try to be, really try to live up to and embrace what makes us good and what makes us the team we are, and that's that intensity and flying around and being active and being aggressive. And I think that when it doesn't get that way, whether it's a 50-point game or a 2-point game, I've got to have the same reaction. And, so when I get frustrated at that time, it's because we want to be process oriented, and it's not about whether that's going to cost game or not cost game. It's we're not playing the way we should play. And when other kids get opportunities, especially come in the game, they've got to understand that if they make mistakes, if they don't have that intensity, if they let things happen, they are going to get yelled at, and maybe that will help them down the stretch.
What has been the key to this start, if you really broke it down?
Boy, that's a tough one. And I think actually the fact that question is so tough is the key. And I know this kind of coach's cliche, but we don't have one strength. We don't have one player. I think you could make the argument that Emily Clemens, is kind of that player who has been a huge strength. But, tonight they were face guarding Emily. She only took 7 shots. She still had 20 points, but she's willing to kind of make that sacrifice and take what the offense gives her. She goes out and has 9 assists. So I think our versatility on offense, we had 5 in double figures tonight. We honestly probably have 6 or 7 girls on our team that could score 25 or 30, in a specific game. And kind of the same thing with rebounding. We spread our rebounds out throughout the team. I think that our matchup zone still has some things we've got to work on, but it's at least a little bit of a neutralizer defensively. As bad as a defensive team we were last year, it's nice to just have some things that can get us steals and live ball turnovers, which we could turn into points and take another team out of rhythm and not let them run their stuff. Right now every team has to probably put in something new for us, and I think that's helped us.
Emily didn't have a turnover until really late in the fourth quarter. What's it say about how she's playing right now?
Yeah, she's just so solid, and she had a really good high school coach in Susan Orvis that I actually worked with at UMKC, and I thank her about every day that I have a chance for Emily, because we never would have found her without her. But she's one of the simplest players I've ever seen, just incredibly simple. You never see her, she never does the triple crossover move and the person breaks her ankles and the crowd goes nuts and then, misses the jumper. She just makes a simple play, knocks down open shots, gets to the basket, and finds her open teammates.
Coach, Olivia Braun had really struggled in her past 4 games before today, and she had 8 points and 8 rebounds today. What was really different about the way she played tonight compared to the past week or so?
Yeah, I don't think she struggled in the past 4 games. She didn't put up a lot of scoring numbers. And she's kind of a system kid on offense. She's going to get some baskets. She'll knock down some open shots. She's a great passer for her size. What she really brings to our team is she's a basket protector. So in those last games, she had 4 blocks in some of them and a lot of shots that are changed, and people are scared to come in there. So I've been happy with her performance. But I thought tonight, especially rebounding, I really challenged her the other day at practice, and she responded. If she's a kid that gets up in there and goes for a rebound with 2 hands, she can outplay a lot of people to the ball. But, being a kid that was a 4-year transfer and really hadn't played a lot of college basketball for 3 years, sometimes those things take a second or 2 to click.
Mallory Boyle had a career high, I believe, what she meant. What
17.
she do tonight. So.
Yeah, I didn't even notice Mallory scoring. I was wondering why she was in here. But You know, Mallory's just, I think the reason I'm so proud of Mallory is like she's a kid who's really worked to be where she's at. You know, her freshman and sophomore year, she struggled to get in the rotation and just had the best attitude about it and really set an example, I think, for all the other kids that come in as freshmen thinking they're going to set the world on fire and realize college basketball is a lot tougher. So, she's doing a better job of kind of getting opposite the ball. You know, you notice she got a lot of like dump passes when we'd attack. She seemed to be more in the right place at the right time. And then she's rebounding better. You know, she's a really good rebounder going after the ball. Sometimes she tries to get a little over physical, which is what we've been talking to her about, because if you look at her, she's not going to out muscle anyone, but she can go, she's more athletic, so she can go out and get in the ball. And she's really deceptively strong as far as being able to get up in the air, being able to have good balance, be able to go after the ball and rip it.
What was so different about the way you guys played in the second quarter compared to the first? Because Eastern kept it very close with you guys in the first quarter, and then you guys were able to create a lot of separation in that second quarter.
Yeah, I thought we kind of got off to that bad start, and it seemed like to me our players off the ball weren't as active and anticipating, so we'd get a deflection and they'd pick it up and put it in. So some people might see those as luck points. I see those as winning the trenches and everyone being really down active as opposed to just a person on the ball. And I thought once we did a better job of that, you know, the person that deflects the ball isn't going to be the one that gets it most of the time. So once we did a better job of that and we were winning those second balls, turn those into layups, I think that was a big part of the second quarter and even the second half of the first quarter. So the second eighth of the game, I think we started to kind of do that. And, you know, I don't remember what they were up at that time. At one point, they were up like 9-3 or something. We kind of were able to get back. So after we got off that bad start, I thought we were more active defensively.
Is this what you expected? I mean, where you're at this point?
I'm just a coach who I never know what to expect. You know, I've learned that in coaching. And if you ask my girls, they'll tell you I'm not a big goal setter. Our goal is how we're going to play and the team we're going to be. And so, you know, I was almost having to get myself to calm down about this team because I thought we were practicing well and I thought we had potential to be a really good player. So I'd kind of remind myself, well, we lost our 2 all-conference players. We lost our leading scorer and rebounder to, you know, make sure that I'm being realistic and not being overconfident. You know, as a coach, I don't think you ever want to be overconfident. But at the same time, I think I knew this team could be good, and we still have a long way to go. You know, I mean, our conference is off the chart. So we're playing great, but, you know, so is 5 or 6 other teams in the league.
Coach, just touch real quick on your perimeter defense. Held Eastern to 3 of 19 from downtown.
I thought we were really flying at the shooters a lot better. And when we communicated up top, we really did a good job of finding their shooters. I thought we had that one stretch where they hit 2 or 3 right in a row, and we did a terrible job of communicating with our ball person and our rover there. So we've made it. We've always really been bad at three-point percentage defense. So we've really talked about trying to not let teams shoot it. Whether good shooters, bad shooters, it doesn't matter. We actually eliminated, we used to have a category for a kid that couldn't really shoot it, and we eliminated that category because we want to get up and pressure everyone. So I think pressuring, creating some indecision has helped bring that three-point percentage defense down.
5 in double figures, that's got to be pretty important.
Yeah, I just love that. I mean, I just love that. I think we share the ball so well, and all our kids are, you know, willing to give up a good shot for a great shot, and we've got a lot of kids that can score it, so that's a pretty dangerous combination.
Well, it's 21 assists and 27 field goals. I think probably says a lot too.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, we've been a high assist to turnover ratio, and really our turnovers, you know, if it weren't for kind of that, when we did get passive in that fourth quarter, I think we had 5 or 6 probably there. We would have done a good job handling the ball.
Coach, when you look at Eastern and you see Erica Brown, she scores 25, is that still a concern for you with how much they scored on the inside tonight?
A little bit, but, you know, the good thing about that, Erica's a really good mid-range shooter, which I think is tough for any zone. And, you know, we'll take an opponent getting 25 and us winning by, you know, 20 points. And we kind of want, like, if things don't go well in our zone, we want them to have to hit a 15-footer or a mid-range jumper as opposed to getting a layup or a wide-open 3. So in a way, it's like, I don't want to say that's what we're giving up, but we're making people consistently hit that, and it's awfully tough to beat a team hitting 15-foot jumpers all night.
I think we just wanted to play unselfish basketball again, get out in transition, and really be the aggressors and also win the rebounding battle. And I'm not sure if we ended that way. At halftime, we were down 2, I think, but just getting those 50-50 balls.
Coach said you guys were a little bit passive defensively in that fourth quarter and allowed EIU to crawl back. What do you tell you guys in those timeouts that lit the fire under you guys again?
Well, in our defense, we just need to be aggressive. So we kind of just, he yelled at us, but it got us going, and we realized that in order for our defense to be good, we need to be aggressive and flying out and a lot of pressure and moving around.
Michelle, you shot 3 of 8 tonight on 3, and do you consider yourself a real 3-point specialist throughout the year?
I'd like to think so, but we consider her a 3-point specialist.
Mallory, career high, what were you able to do to get the ball inside? What were they able to do, what were you able to do against their defense to be open like that on some of those plays?
I think coach has told me a lot to dive more to the basket and be there for the extra dish pass. And a lot of my teammates, when they drove, they found me. So I think it was just a lot of help from them.
Was that first quarter for you guys kind of like a wake-up call that EIU isn't going to go away quietly? And then what did you guys do differently in that second quarter to push your advantage up?
Yeah, any in-state game is going to be tough. You know, it's a rivalry game. And we knew they were going to come out intense and wanting to win just as bad as we did. And I think just running in transition was a big emphasis. We knew we could get numbers and push the floor, and that's what we really tried to do.
Emily, you had 7 shots. You only took 7 shots tonight. Finished 20 points, but you were able to do some other things. What were they doing defensively on you, and what did that open up then for everybody else?
Yeah, they denied the ball, a little bit of a face guard. I think when you do that to a point guard, it's hard because you're going to have the ball in your hand initially on the inbounds most of the time. But I think I didn't have a lot of good looks, so I wasn't going to force up shots. You know, my teammates had better looks, and I'm okay with that. I would rather have them take a good shot than me force a bad shot, so that doesn't matter to me. But it was definitely a face guard.